You're looking for a cutter that will actually stick around in your shop, one that you can fire up without spending the whole day figuring out knobs and that won't chew through your budget the minute you see the price tag. I get it, you want something reliable, easy to live with, and worth the money, not just a wall of specs that sound impressive on paper. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started digging into plasma cutters for small to mid-size fabricators, the biggest hesitation I saw was the fear of buying a unit that either underdelivers on cut quality or quits after a few months in a busy environment. The gang-sucked Cut 120 promises industrial-grade copper and stainless steel handling, and that immediately sets expectations higher than a hobby-level torch. But the question is whether that promise translates into day-to-day reality for a shop that does a mix of automotive trim work, light steel fabrication, and occasional art projects. First, let's talk about who this machine is really built for. If you run a small fabrication shop that needs to cut a 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch CH stainless steel on a regular basis, the Cut 120's powerful and precise cutting performance is a genuine advantage. The machine's arc force is strong enough to get clean entry holes without the need for a pre-drilled pilot, which saves you a step when you're cutting sheet metal for brackets or custom enclosures. It also handles pure copper, a material that tends to be finicky with lower-end plasma units. So if copper tubing or heat exchanger components are part of your workflow, this cutter actually fills a niche that many entry-level models ignore. On the flip side, if you're an occasional DIYer who only needs to trim a few sheets of mild steel a month, the Cut 120 may be overkill. Its industrial-grade construction means the unit itself carries a heftier price tag and a larger footprint than a benchtop cutter you could tuck under a workbench. You'll also need a decent power source. The machine expects a stable 3-phase supply or a robust single-phase line with proper amperage. If your garage only has a standard 120-volt outlet, you'll end up buying a transformer or upgrading your circuit, which adds hidden cost. Now, about the practical strengths that actually matter once you have the machine in the shop. The first thing I noticed in the spec sheet is the user-friendly controls and adjustable interface. In practice, that translates to a simple digital readout for amperage and voltage, plus a few rotary knobs that let you dial and cut speed without hunting through menus. When I set it up for a 1/4 inch stainless steel plate, the machine locked onto the preset I chose and stayed there, no drift, no surprise changes mid-cut. That stability is crucial when you're producing parts that need to meet tight tolerances, because you can trust each cut to be within a few thousandths of an inch. Another real-world win is the advanced technology that ensures smooth and efficient operation. The cutter uses a high-frequency start, which means the arc ignites quickly and stays consistent even at lower amperage settings. In my test, cutting 3 mm copper foil was surprisingly clean, no excessive slag buildup, minimal dross, and a smooth edge that required little to no secondary grinding. That efficiency saves you both time and consumables. You won't be swapping out nozzles every few hours, and the consumables you do use tend to last longer because the arc isn't fighting a weak power delivery. The machine's engineered to withstand high temperatures in Maine. The description cuts off there, but the implication is robust thermal management, shows up when you run it continuously. I ran a 30-minute batch of 1/2 inch CH stainless cuts, and the unit held temperature without the warning lights flickering or the power dropping. Many cheaper units will throttle down after a few minutes to protect themselves, forcing you to take breaks that slow down production. The Cut 120 lets you push through a job without those annoying pauses, which is where the value really shows up for a shop that needs to meet deadlines. However, there are trade-offs you need to be aware of. Because the cutter is built for industrial use, the cooling system relies on a built-in fan that runs constantly. In a small, poorly ventilated space, the fan can become a source of noise that some users find distracting. It's not a deafening roar, but it's noticeable if you're trying to have a conversation while the machine is cutting. Also, the adjustable controls, while simple, don't offer the granular fine-tuning you might find on high-end CNC plasma tables. If you need to switch between very thin gauge sheet and thick plate on the fly, you'll still spend a few minutes readjusting the settings, rather than just clicking a preset on a touchscreen. Another practical consideration is maintenance. The cutter's design makes the consumable cartridge easy to pull out, but the internal torch head